Your dog isn't loyal because it loves you. It's loyal because 10,000 years ago, that was the only way to survive. Every dog on Earth today, the one asleep on your couch, is descended from animals that learned one brutal lesson: get close to humans or die alone. What if affection itself was never really about love? What if it started as a survival strategy that worked so well it became a species? To understand it, we have to go back to the edge of the first human camps. Not inside them, outside them. Roughly 15,000 years ago, wolves were apex predators. Fast, dangerous, built to kill. But something strange happened at the edges of human settlements. Piles of garbage, bones stripped of meat, rotting scraps nobody wanted. For a hungry wolf, that trash heap was easier than hunting. Less risk, less energy, free calories, just sitting there. But there was a catch. Get too close, too fast, too aggressive, and a human speared you. Stay too far, too nervous, and another wolf got the scraps first. Only one temperament could win this game. Calm enough to tolerate people, bold enough to stay close, nothing else survived the filter. This is the theory scientists call self-domestication. Nobody sat down 10,000 years ago and decided to tame a wolf. The wolves domesticated themselves, one trash heap at a time. And we know exactly what that filter does, because scientists accidentally recreated it. In 1959, a Soviet geneticist named Dmitry Belayev started breeding foxes for one trait only: calmness around humans. Nothing else. Not size, not color, not intelligence, just tolerance. Within a few generations, something happened that shouldn't have happened. The foxes' ears started to flop, their tails curled, their skulls changed shape. They started barking. Belayev never bred for any of that. He only selected for calm. Everything else came along for free, wired to the same genes. Like tolerance was a master switch connected to a dozen other traits nobody was even trying to change. That's the exact same filter that ran on wolves for 10,000 years, except nature was running it, not a lab. Generation after generation, the aggressive ones got killed. The nervous ones starved. The calm, curious, tolerant ones ate, bred, and passed on that exact temperament. Their skulls shrank, their teeth got smaller, their ears started to flop, just like Belayev's foxes. None of that was useful for survival in the wild. It was only useful for surviving near people. And here's what's stranger. The evidence for this isn't just theory. In 1914, a construction crew in Bonn, Germany uncovered a grave over 14,000 years old. Inside were two humans, and a dog. Not a wolf, a dog, with the shortened jaw and crowded teeth of an animal already changed by thousands of years near people. That dog didn't die of old age. Studies of its teeth showed it survived a severe illness for weeks, maybe months, too sick to hunt or feed itself, too weak to keep up with the pack. Something kept it alive anyway, fed it, waited for it. That single grave rewrote when we thought the bond began, pushing the timeline back further than almost anyone expected. By the time the actual cities existed, the relationship had split into three directions, and all three were about survival. In the ancient Near East, at a site called Ain Malaha, archaeologists found something even older and stranger: a human skeleton, arm resting gently on the body of a puppy, buried together roughly 12,000 years ago. Not a hunting animal, not a guard, something else. A companion, buried like it mattered, at a time when burying anything with you was rare and deliberate. Centuries later, in Mesopotamia, dogs got something even stranger than a companion's grave: a religion. At the ancient city of Isin, archaeologists uncovered a temple dedicated to Gula, goddess of healing, and buried beneath its floors dozens of dog skeletons along with hundreds of small clay dog figurines left as offerings. Gula's sacred animal was a dog, and her priests kept living dogs inside the temple itself, believed to lick wounds and pull sickness out of the body. When one of those temple dogs died, it wasn't thrown outside the walls, it was buried with ceremony, inside sacred ground, sometimes in its own small grave beneath the sanctuary floor. A dog born in the wrong alley became scraps for the taking. A dog born inside Gula's temple became something worshippers prayed to. And outside of the walls of nearly every ancient city, Rome, Athens, Babylon, a third kind of dog was surviving a third way. Feral packs living off garbage, offal, and scraps thrown from kitchens and temples. Roman writers complain about them constantly, packs so bold they wandered the forum at night. Dogs that ate the dead in wars and plagues when no one else would touch the bodies. In ancient Egypt, killing one of these street dogs, even by accident, could carry the death penalty. Not out of affection, but because dogs were tied to Anubis, guardian of the dead, sacred on paper, invisible in practice, fed by superstition, not love. And those feral packs weren't just surviving off the city, they were quietly keeping it alive. Ancient cities had no sanitation systems, no trash collection, no sewers built to handle the sheer volume of waste a dense population produces. Rotting food, animal carcasses, human refuse, all of it piled up in streets and alleys, breeding disease faster than any doctor could treat it. Street dogs ate through that waste every single day, clearing carcasses and scraps before they could rot into something worse. Historians studying disease patterns in ancient urban centers have noted that cities with larger scavenger dog populations often saw slower spread of certain filth-borne illnesses than cities that tried to drive the dogs out. Nobody planned this. No official ever assigned dogs to the job of sanitation worker. It was the same filter as always. The dogs that stayed close to the mess ate it and tolerated the noise and danger of a crowded city, survived and multiplied. The city needed them more than it ever admitted. 3 endings, 1 species. Worshipped in the temple. Buried like family in a private grave. Invisible in the alley. All 3 came from the exact same trick that got their ancestors through that first trash heap. Stay close enough to benefit from humans without ever needing humans to actually care. And here's the part that should unsettle you a little. Genetic studies now suggest dogs may have split off from wolves twice. Once even before agriculture existed, before humans had permanent homes to guard, before there were any obvious job for a dog to do. Which means the bond didn't start with a task, it started with proximity. 2 species that happen to tolerate each other just long enough for something else to grow in the space between them. We like to tell ourselves that dogs chose us because they're loyal, and we chose them because we're kind. But the wolves that got too close too early and the wolves that stayed too far away are both gone. Extinct. Filtered out. What's left? Every dog alive right now, temple dog or sled dog or subway rider or the one asleep on your couch, is the descendant of 10,000 years of exactly enough tolerance to survive. Generation after generation, without ever tipping into trust that got them killed. So the next time your dog looks at you like you're the center of its universe, remember what that expression actually is. Not gratitude, not even really affection, not the way we mean it. It's a 10,000-year-old survival algorithm, still running, still calm, still close enough to the fire to eat, but never quite far enough from the wild to forget how it got there.